Well, the people always be there for Spear, and as long as the time is right, I don't mind come and do what needed to be done musically for the people.
Burning Spear shaped reggae in a way that still hits people right in the chest. His voice had that steady fire that made you feel like you were listening to history talk. So, today we are asking the question everyone whispers from time to time, what the hell happened to Burning Spear, and why did he step back when his fans still wanted more? If you care about reggae music, or you just love hearing stories about artists who leave a mark before slipping into the quiet, you are in the right place. Let us get into it. Early life and rise in Jamaica. When people talk about reggae legends, Burning Spear always shows up in the conversation. His early years shaped everything he later brought to the stage. To understand what the hell happened to Burning Spear, you first have to understand where he came from. His story begins in rural Jamaica, where music and community shaped daily life. That mix helped him build the steady style that fans still love. Burning Spear was born Winston Rodney in St. Ann. The same parish produced Bob Marley, which is one of those facts that makes you look at the place like it has some kind of secret sauce. The area had a strong culture of singing, drumming, and storytelling. Kids grew up hearing rhythms everywhere they turned. Rodney was no different. He picked up music at a young age and spent plenty of time listening to the older folks in his town. They passed down songs, local stories, and a sense of pride in Jamaican history. You can hear that pride all through his music later in life. Like many talented young people, he wanted to move beyond the small community he grew up in. Jamaica had a growing music scene at the time, and studios were popping up in Kingston. If you had talent and drive, Kingston was the place to be. Rodney made the move and found himself surrounded by singers, guitar players, producers, and street energy that helped keep the creative fire burning. The music scene was rough around the edges, but also full of opportunity. People worked hard, and you had to keep up or get left behind. Rodney fit in fast because he treated music like it was part of his soul. One story fans like to repeat is that Bob Marley encouraged Rodney to visit Studio One. Studio One was the home of many reggae artists and a place where new voices got a chance to shine. Rodney took the advice and walked right in. That bold move helped shape his career. Studio One producer Coxsone Dodd saw something strong in him. Rodney had a deep voice that could hit you like a spiritual warning and a calm presence that made listeners lean in. It was simple but powerful. You did not need fancy tricks to feel the message. That is why people still talk about Burning Spear today. His first recordings started coming out in the early 70s. These early tracks introduced the slow, steady rhythm he is known for. They were not flashy, but they carried a heavy message about identity and strength. His sound was different from many other artists at the time. He did not chase trends or try to sound like anyone else. He stayed consistent and let the message carry the music. Fans connected with him right away because he sounded grounded in something real. He was not trying to impress anyone. He was trying to speak truth with a slow spark of humor that made you smile even when he talked about serious subjects. As he released more songs, people noticed his voice, his message, and his confidence. The early part of his career may not have been loud, but it was steady. Listeners could tell he had something to say, and he had the patience to say it clearly. That calm style made him stand out in a busy scene. His rise was not fast, but it was solid. You could feel the ground under his feet every step of the way. That kind of rise lasts. His early life set the stage for everything that came next. His community shaped him, his culture lifted him, and his move to Kingston opened the door that gave the world Burning Spear. Breakthrough albums and sound. When people talk about the rise of reggae, Burning Spear always comes up because his early albums set the tone for his whole career. If you really want to understand what the hell happened to Burning Spear later, you have to look at the moment he broke through. His sound did not explode overnight. It grew with each project until fans around the world started paying attention. The thing that made him special was how simple his music was. Simple, but packed with power. That mix gave him a sound that still feels strong today. After recording his first songs at Studio One, Burning Spear dropped the album that showed everyone he was not here to play around. The record was called Studio One Presents Burning Spear. The name may not have been flashy, but the music hit with that deep, steady pulse that became his signature. People who heard it knew something real was happening. The tracks had tight rhythm, clean bass lines, and a voice that sounded like it grew out of the earth. It was calm but intense at the same time. It was the kind of sound that made you straighten your back without even knowing why. What set him apart was his focus on the message. He talked about strength, identity, and the spirit of Jamaica. He did not sing to please everyone. He sang to speak the truth. He kept the lyrics clear and easy to follow, but the meaning sat heavy in your mind after the song ended. Fans did not just listen, they felt it. Burning Spear never needed big production or loud tricks. He worked with a steady rhythm and firm vocals that carried a lot of weight. It was like hearing an elder talk about life while the drums kept the heartbeat steady. Then he released the album that really pushed him into the spotlight. It was called Marcus Garvey, and this one changed everything. The sound was confident, rich, and full of purpose. The message in the album connected with people who cared about history and culture. Songs like Marcus Garvey and Slavery Days became classics. They were not dance floor tracks, they were tracks that made you think. Burning Spear had something different going on. He was teaching while singing, but in a way that felt natural, not preachy, just steady truth with a spice of attitude you could not ignore. The album was so strong that Island Records picked it up and released a version for a wider audience. The label even remixed it, which caused a bit of noise among hardcore fans who loved the raw sound. But even with the changes, the album pulled in new listeners from outside Jamaica. Some people first learned the name Burning Spear through that release. His voice and message reached people who may never have heard reggae before. That is how powerful the album was. You did not need any background knowledge. You could just listen and feel the depth of it. After Marcus Garvey came Man in the Hills, another project that kept his momentum strong. He continued to deliver the same grounded style, the same rich voice, and the same focus on identity. Fans did not have to guess what he was about. He stayed consistent. His music felt like a direct line back to Jamaica and back to history. His early sound shaped the reggae scene in a big way because he kept it honest. Other artists respected him for that. He did not try to chase whatever was popular. He stayed with what he believed in. Burning Spear became a voice that listeners trusted, and his breakthrough albums helped build the foundation that made him a legend. His sound was strong, clear, and full of meaning. That foundation is why fans later started asking what the hell happened to Burning Spear. They loved what he created, and they wanted it to last forever. Activism, message, and public image. Burning Spear became known for his music, but his message is what locked his name in history. He had a calm voice, but the things he talked about carried a lot of weight. If you want to understand why fans still ask what the hell happened to Burning Spear, you have to look at the message that shaped his whole image. He never acted like a regular entertainer. He saw himself as someone who needed to speak truth, and he never backed away from that responsibility. His music drew a lot of its power from the teachings of Marcus Garvey. Garvey pushed the idea of unity and pride in African heritage. Burning Spear believed those teachings were important enough to pass through music. He did not treat Garvey like a historical figure from a dusty book. He treated him like a guide who could help people understand who they are and where they came from. That is why Garvey shows up in so many of his songs. It was not an accident. It was a choice that shaped his entire image. You can hear that message in tracks like Slavery Days and Old Marcus Garvey. He did not sugarcoat anything. He spoke clearly, sometimes bluntly, and always with a steady tone that made you sit up straight. He wanted listeners to think about identity, history, and strength. It was deeper than entertainment. When people played his music, they were getting education and energy at the same time. That is why so many fans still feel connected to him. He made them think without talking down to them. His activism was not loud or flashy. He did not yell on stages or start dramatic fights in interviews. He took a slow and steady approach. He used his songs to keep important conversations alive. His voice carried a calm emotion that made people listen instead of shutting down. Even when the message was serious, he slipped in moments of charm that kept things human. He had this way of making you feel like he was talking with you instead of at you. Wanda Sykes would probably say he had the kind of voice that could scold you and comfort you at the same time. That is a real skill. The public started to see him as more than a performer. They saw him as someone who carried spiritual weight. His concerts felt almost like community gatherings. People came to hear music, but they also came to feel grounded and connected. He did not jump around the stage or hit wild poses. He stood tall, held his mic, and let the message do the heavy lifting. Some artists use dancers, some use big lights. Burning Spear used truth, and it worked. His public image grew from that steady approach. He was known as someone who kept his values front and center. Reporters liked to ask him about politics and culture because they knew he would give a thoughtful answer. Fans liked him because he never tried to be something he was not. He stayed in his lane and protected his voice so it kept its power. His activism was not about fame, it was about purpose. When people later started asking what the hell happened to Burning Spear, part of the sadness came from the fact that he carried this message with so much care. Fans felt his absence because they were used to his guidance, his calm sound, and his sense of direction. His activism was built into everything he did, and that created a connection that never faded. Burning Spear shaped reggae through music, but he shaped people through message. That message protected his legacy and made his silence feel even louder when he stepped away from the spotlight. Touring and global reach. Burning Spear did not just stay in the studio. One of the reasons his name stuck in reggae history is that he took his music on the road. Touring became a way for him to connect with fans, spread his message, and show that reggae could hold its own on the global stage. If you want to understand what the hell happened to Burning Spear, you need to see how much energy he put into live performance. He made fans feel like they were part of something bigger than a concert. His early tours were focused mostly on Jamaica and nearby Caribbean islands. These shows were small but packed. The audience could feel the history in his songs. People did not just clap along, they listened, they nodded, they sang quietly to themselves. He had a way of holding a crowd without doing crazy stunts or shouting over the speakers. Fans noticed immediately that this was not just another reggae artist. This was someone who made every word count. Once his albums gained attention outside Jamaica, his tours expanded. Burning Spear started playing in the United States and Europe. Cities like New York, London, and Paris became regular stops. He could walk into a festival or a concert hall and instantly command respect. People in the audience were not always reggae experts, but they left knowing exactly who he was. His voice, rhythm, and message traveled across borders. That global reach helped cement his reputation as one of the genre's most serious voices. Live performances also became a way for Burning Spear to experiment. He sometimes added extra percussion or extended vocal lines to make songs more intense. These changes kept the music fresh for fans who had heard the albums 100 times. Each show had a little something special. That attention to detail made people keep coming back. They knew a Burning Spear concert was not about flashy effects or gimmicks. It was about feeling every note and understanding the story behind it. Fans often say that seeing him live changed how they heard his music. Songs that felt calm on record became almost hypnotic in a concert setting. The steady rhythms, deep bass, and measured vocal delivery pulled people in. It was not about jumping around, it was about being present. That is a rare quality in a performer, and it explains why he developed such a devoted following around the world. Touring also helped him influence other artists. Musicians who saw him live learned how power could come from patience and focus. They watched him connect with fans without doing anything over the top. That technique influenced a generation of reggae performers who understood that message and sound mattered more than flash. Eventually, his tours became a key part of his identity. Fans expected him to appear on stage and deliver more than music. They expected a sense of culture, history, and community. Touring gave him a way to do that while staying true to the steady approach that defined his early work. Burning Spear's global reach was no accident. It was the product of consistent music, a powerful message, and careful attention to how audiences experienced his work. Those tours spread reggae worldwide and gave fans everywhere a chance to ask what the hell happened to Burning Spear when his appearances slowed down. Awards, honors, and career high points. Burning Spear's career was not just about albums and live shows. Awards and recognition also played a big part in showing the world how important he was. If you want to understand what the hell happened to Burning Spear, you need to see how high he climbed before stepping back. These moments show that his talent was not just appreciated by fans. Critics, peers, and the music industry noticed him too. One of the first major acknowledgments came with his Grammy nominations. Burning Spear received his first nomination in the mid-80s. That alone was a statement. Reggae was still gaining respect internationally, and having an artist like him nominated meant people were taking the genre seriously. Fans were proud, but it also put him on a bigger stage. You could see how the music industry was starting to recognize his unique contribution. He did not just stop at nominations. In 2000, Burning Spear finally won a Grammy for Best Reggae Album. This award was for the album Calling Rastafari, a record that stayed true to the grounded, message-driven sound he had always produced. Winning a Grammy did not make him change his style or chase trends. Instead, it confirmed that staying authentic could bring rewards. You could almost imagine him shrugging and saying, "I told you so," but quietly and with dignity. Beyond Grammys, he received numerous honors in Jamaica and abroad. Local governments, cultural organizations, and music festivals celebrated his contribution to reggae and Jamaican culture. Plaques, certificates, and Lifetime Achievement Awards piled up over the years. Each recognition highlighted different aspects of his career: his voice, his message, his impact on younger artists, and his ability to carry reggae into the global spotlight. Critics also praised him consistently. Album reviews often pointed to his calm yet powerful delivery. Music historians called him one of the voices that defined reggae in the 70s and 80s. Unlike many artists who chased trends or public attention, he stayed focused on what mattered: rhythm, lyrics, and meaning. Critics respected him for that. Fans respected him for that. And that respect built a career that lasted decades. He also influenced countless other musicians. You can hear echoes of Burning Spear's style in artists who came after him. His approach to voice, rhythm, and message created a template for serious reggae artists. That influence added another layer to his career high points. Awards and honors acknowledged him personally, but the real impact was on the music itself. Even when his public appearances slowed, people continued to talk about his achievements. They remembered the albums, the tours, and the messages. That respect and admiration are part of what makes his absence feel noticeable. It also explains why fans still ask what the hell happened to Burning Spear. They know what he accomplished, and they want more. Burning Spear's awards and career high points show that his influence went beyond fans' hearts. The music industry, critics, and fellow artists all recognize the same thing: he was a legend. These milestones help explain the lasting impression he left on reggae and why his story continues to matter today. Why he stepped back. Even legends need a break. Burning Spear's career had incredible momentum, but at some point, fans started asking what the hell happened to Burning Spear. Why did he slow down? Why was he not as visible? Understanding this period requires looking at both personal and professional reasons behind his reduced public presence. One factor was age. Performing, touring, and recording music for decades takes a toll on anyone. Burning Spear's steady, deep voice came from years of care and discipline, but even the strongest artists need time to rest. Touring can be exhausting. Long flights, late nights, and high-energy performances are physically demanding. Staying true to his craft meant he could not just show up half-heartedly, so stepping back was as much about preserving his music as it was about health. Health concerns may have also played a role. While he never publicly discussed serious illnesses, fans noticed a slower pace and fewer appearances. It is natural. Even when someone looks calm and steady, behind the scenes, there are limits. Artists often face the choice of pushing forward or preserving themselves. Burning Spear chose the latter, prioritizing quality over quantity. That choice kept his voice and performances strong when he did appear. Another reason was the desire for personal focus. Throughout his career, Burning Spear maintained a strong connection to his roots and spiritual beliefs. Spending time off stage allowed him to reflect, write, and maintain balance. Touring and recording can be all-consuming. Pulling back gave him the space to reconnect with family, friends, and his own creative energy. For someone who built a career on thoughtful lyrics and steady rhythms, that balance mattered. Industry changes may have influenced his choice too. The reggae scene shifted as new styles and technologies emerged. Dancehall and digital production started to dominate. Some artists adapt by chasing trends, but Burning Spear stayed grounded. He did not compromise his style to fit the market. This approach meant he became less present in mainstream channels, even while remaining a respected figure in the reggae community. His decision reflected a commitment to authenticity over fame. Fans also noticed that he became selective with projects. Instead of releasing music frequently, he focused on meaningful albums and performances. That choice reinforced his image as a thoughtful artist. He did not rush work out just to stay in the spotlight. He let each piece breathe. That slow pace may have confused some casual listeners, but it made his true fans respect him even more. Finally, part of the stepping back was simply natural evolution. Artists reach points where visibility is no longer the goal. Burning Spear had already achieved global recognition, awards, and influence. Continuing to perform at the same intensity was no longer necessary for him to have an impact. Sometimes silence preserves a legacy better than constant exposure. So when fans ask what the hell happened to Burning Spear, the answer is a mix of health, age, personal choice, and commitment to authenticity. He did not disappear because he lost interest or talent. He slowed down to protect himself, his music, and the message he cared about. That deliberate pause made his legacy stronger and left fans appreciating him even more. Later projects and public appearances. Even after stepping back from constant touring and recording, Burning Spear did not vanish completely. Fans who wondered what the hell happened to Burning Spear were occasionally treated to new projects and surprise appearances that reminded everyone why his name still carries weight in reggae. These later works and performances helped maintain his influence while showing that he was still fully in control of his career. In the 1990s and 2000s, Burning Spear continued releasing albums, though at a slower pace. Records like Living Dub Volumes 1 and 2 and Calling Rastafari kept him active while staying true to his signature style. Each album reinforced the steady rhythms, thoughtful lyrics, and spiritual messages fans expected. He did not chase trends or change his sound to please the market. That consistency built trust. Fans knew that a new Burning Spear album meant quality, not noise. He also appeared at international music festivals during this time. Events like Reggae Sumfest in Jamaica and Rototom Sunsplash in Europe allowed fans to see him live without committing to a full tour schedule. Even a single performance felt like an event because of his reputation and presence. Fans often describe these appearances as spiritual experiences, not just concerts. He delivered every note with care, and the audience could feel that dedication. Interviews during these later years offered insights into his personal life, beliefs, and creative process. While he did not seek the spotlight, he spoke thoughtfully when asked. Reporters noted his calm demeanor and focus on history and culture. Fans appreciated that he never exaggerated or created drama for attention. That authenticity reminded people why they fell in love with his music in the first place. Some of these later projects included collaborations with younger artists who looked up to him. By lending his voice and experience, he passed the torch while maintaining control over his legacy. These collaborations were not about trend chasing. They were about sharing wisdom and ensuring reggae's roots remained visible to a new generation. Burning Spear acted as a mentor without changing his own message. Even with fewer public appearances, he kept his name relevant through carefully planned releases and strategic festival dates. Each project reminded fans that he had not disappeared entirely. The selective approach added to his mystique. People waited eagerly for each new song or live show because they knew it would be meaningful. That strategy kept anticipation high while protecting the artist from burnout. For many fans, seeing him later in life reinforced the connection to his early work. Songs from the 1970s sounded just as strong on stage decades later. His voice, timing, and calm authority had aged like fine rum. Even casual listeners were drawn in by the depth of his performances. Those appearances reminded everyone what made him a legend. So, while Burning Spear may have reduced his presence compared to the height of his career, his later projects and public appearances proved he was still an active voice in reggae. He may not have been everywhere, but when he did appear, it mattered. Fans continued to ask what the hell happened to Burning Spear, because even when he slowed down, his impact never faded. Legacy and current status. Burning Spear is more than a musician. He is a cultural icon whose influence on reggae and music in general is impossible to ignore. Understanding what the hell happened to Burning Spear includes seeing how his legacy continues to shape the genre and inspire fans around the world. Even with reduced public appearances, his work remains deeply relevant. His legacy begins with his unique sound. That steady, grounding rhythm and deep, commanding voice became a blueprint for serious reggae music. Many artists who came after him cite Burning Spear as an influence. His focus on message and history showed that music could entertain while teaching and inspiring. That combination of style and purpose helped reggae gain respect internationally. He was not just creating catchy tunes. He was preserving culture and pride in every note. His albums remain essential listening. Classics like Marcus Garvey, Social Living, and Man in the Hills are studied by musicians, historians, and fans alike. The themes he explored, from African heritage to social justice, continue to resonate today. Younger generations discover him through digital streaming platforms and still connect with the core messages in his songs. That timelessness is a big part of why fans still ask, what the hell happened to Burning Spear? His presence in music is permanent, even if his appearances are fewer. Beyond albums, his influence extends to live music. Festivals, tribute concerts, and international reggae events often honor his style and message. Artists perform covers of his work and share stories of how his music shaped their path. This ripple effect keeps his presence alive. Even without him touring constantly, his legacy is as much about the inspiration he gives other musicians as it is about his own catalog. Burning Spear also plays a role in cultural education. He frequently speaks about Marcus Garvey and the history behind his songs. Interviews and documentaries show him explaining the meaning behind lyrics and albums. Fans learn not just about music, but also about history, identity, and pride. That connection between entertainment and education makes his legacy rich and multidimensional. Currently, Burning Spear continues to live a quieter life. He releases music selectively, appears at key festivals, and occasionally collaborates with other artists. While he may not dominate headlines, his voice remains a steady influence. He is seen more as a mentor figure in reggae, passing on wisdom to younger musicians while protecting the integrity of his own work. That approach has helped him preserve both his health and his legacy. Fans continue to celebrate him online and at live events. Social media and streaming services allow new listeners to discover his music, while older fans share memories of concerts and favorite albums. The appreciation spans generations, showing how deeply Burning Spear impacted reggae music. So when people ask, what the hell happened to Burning Spear, the answer is simple. He slowed down, but he never disappeared from relevance. His legacy lives in every album, every performance he gave, and every artist he inspired. Burning Spear remains a guiding voice in reggae, proving that true influence does not fade even when the spotlight dims. So that is the story of Burning Spear, a reggae legend who shaped music, inspired fans, and shared powerful messages. Even though he stepped back from constant touring and recording, his legacy remains as strong as ever. His albums, performances, and influence continue to reach new generations, proving that true artistry cannot fade. Now it is your turn. Which Burning Spear song sticks with you the most? And how has his music shaped your love for reggae? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like and subscribe for more stories about legendary artists.